Good Wednesday to you, Amy.
Happy Wednesday, Kirst. It is a super happy Wednesday because we had Simon on the podcast yesterday, and today we have my amazing dad, John, on the podcast. Hi, Dad.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Greeting.
Thank you so much, John, for agreeing to this craziness that is podcasting.
It's a pleasure, and I'm only going to charge you half my fee for today.
Oh, you're a generous man. Dad, have you ever listened to a podcast?
I've listened to yours a couple of times.
Yep.
Yeah,
Do you think you'll listen to this one with you on it?
Oh, guaranteed.
You might even get Mum to listen to this one as well, maybe.
She might actually listen to it. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe this is one way we can get the whole Giorgio clan to listen to our podcast, Amy.
Maybe it is. We just have to interview them all.
Oh, good idea. I like it.
Maybe it could, instead of being the art of decluttering, it can morph into the Giorgio family podcast.
That won't last very long.
Can you declutter the Giorgio family?
Who would you like me to knock off for you, John?
No, I want you to declutter them all and have them in the one house at the one time.
Yeah, that's almost impossible, isn't it, Dad?
Yeah,
we try sometimes.
Really nice. Yeah, I know.
We try.
Maybe after COVID, Sarah will come down with
yeah.
everybody, and at Christmas maybe.
Maybe. Dad, we're going to ask you a whole lot of questions that Kirsty has written. I haven't written these questions, but Kirst has written them. And you can be truthful. You don't have to be. You don't have to say anything just because you think I'll be offended. You can just tell the truth. You don't have to. You're always nice to me, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
To your face. Yes, he is lovely to you.
This is my opportunity.
It sure is. Yes, I might find some things out about myself I didn't even realise.
So we're going to ask you about Amy's growing up and her childhood and her teenage years, because people have been really enjoying getting to know us through ISO, even more than they already do know about us. So we thought we'd take this week by interviewing some things that people may or may not know about us. So thank you again. They are. But let's just premise this by were you around much when Amy was growing up? What did you do for work?
Yeah, look, I was around, but not as often as I'd like to be because I was doing a lot of travelling for my work. But they were all in very good hands with my beautiful wife.
Yeah,
and I don't
very well for them.
Yeah, I don't feel like my childhood memories have you away, actually. Like all the good memories are all of us together. So I don't have these gaps of like, oh, Dad must have been in China for that. All the memories are all of us. So be encouraged.
Well, that's lovely. I mean, I think the most important thing is that when I did get back, you had lots of presents.
Yes, I sure did.
It didn't make up for me being away, but it might have helped a little bit.
Yeah, it helped ease that burden. It's particularly when you're like 10 years old and you're getting the next Babysitters Club that nobody else at school has read.
Absolutely.
You've always been a very generous man, John. So
yes,
lovely to hear about it.
Thank you.
What do you know what Amy's favourite toy or thing to do was when she was little?
Yes, of course. Lego was the thing that she would always turn to. But I remember she had the twin Cabbage Patch dolls that I brought back from Korea. But she also had twin My Child.
No, I only had one My Child, but I had the twin Cabbage Patches. Do you remember what their names were that they came with, Dad?
I remember one of them was black.
No, that's a different daughter.
Is that another one? Because I know
that was Laura.
Because we're always into different ethnic dolls because
yes,
children of the world. But I know they always had flat noses.
Yes, they did. They had these
My
little button noses.
As well,
yes,
too. They had
curly hair.
Noses.
Yes, my Cabbage Patch dolls came with a name, and their names were Bruce and Stuart.
Oh, were they?
Yep, that's their names from the 80s.
Wow.
Did you change their names?
No, you can't change your Cabbage Patch's name.
You can't change. That's disgraceful.
That's not on, Kirsty. Goodness me.
Come on, Kirsty. What is wrong with you?
So my Cabbage Patch doll was called Rudolph, and my sister was a bit jealous that I could sing a song with my Cabbage Patch kid's name in it. So her Cabbage Patch doll was and something, and she changed it to Camellia so she could sing Boy George song to it.
Yeah, there's probably no good songs with Bruce and Stuart, but I did have Twin Boy. You've got a good memory, Dad. You brought them back from Korea. I do remember
that because they were the first couple to come into Australia when they first came out.
Yeah, there was no eBay or Alibaba back then.
Well, it's a little bit like your first Reebok pumps, Amy. Remember that?
1990, I went from the loser of the school to the absolute winner of the school because I had the first pair of Reebok pumps in Australia.
Yeah. And you needed to have very strong wrists to pump those up to the top level.
Oh, they were hard.
Like you did.
Yeah, they were awesome, though. I'd forgotten about my pumps.
Yeah.
Now, Amy often tells us that she was always neat and tidy and organized. Is that really the truth, John?
Absolutely. She was unbelievably organized, and it was the only time in my life that I said to Amy, please be less organized. You're putting us all to shame.
Was she the only one of the 5 that were organised?
Out of the children, absolutely she was. Marilyn was well organised, but the other 4 girls, sorry girls if you're listening, but they weren't organised.
I definitely got it from Mum though. That's who I always credit my original organising love to seeing Mum do it.
Yeah, but mind you, they're pretty organised now. They must have learned from you, Amy.
I don't know about that.
Well, you're going to Laura's house, for example, and she's got the most organised skills I've seen. It's amazing, her house.
Yeah, she's awesome at it too.
She is, yeah.
Oh, is she better than you, Ames?
No. Gosh, no.
Should I go into her business with her instead of you?
Go for it, Kirst.
Was she bossy as a child, John?
Yes.
Really?
You were bossy.
I like that Kirsty said as a child.
Yeah, I did qualify that because...
Well, you can qualify it all you like, but just ask Cal if she's bossy still.
Oh, I don't need to ask anybody. I live with the bossiness every day.
Yeah, but when you've got 4 younger sisters, isn't it sort of your job to be bossy?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
is.
I'm the eldest child. My children, not my children. My brothers and sisters hated me because of my bossiness.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that hated Amy. Yeah.
No, somebody had to get everyone in order.
Absolutely, yeah.
What is your favourite memory of Amy as a child?
Well, I remember one day that when we were living in Greensboro, she jumped on the table. I lifted her on the table. She looked so gorgeous with her curly hair and lovely face. And she started singing to us. And it was delightful. She was like a better looking Shirley Temple.
What was I singing? Was I making up a song?
Most probably, Amy. You used to make up lots of stories and songs. I remember it vividly because it just came into my mind when you asked me the question.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What is one of her strengths that you can see that she's had from the very beginning?
When she makes up her mind to do something, it's done. Definitely done. She doesn't sort of start something and doesn't finish it. Ask her when she starts to clean up the Lego. If it takes her 12 hours, does she still keep going? Yep. She doesn't stop.
Poor Kirst has been at the receiving end of that many times. We're like, oh, let's do this idea. And then like 14 hours later, I'm like, I did it.
Yeah.
Or 2 hours later, it's done before I've even agreed to it completely. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good thing to be because when things get tough,
definitely.
You've got 2 choices. You either stop and regret it or you keep going and achieve it.
Yes.
Simple.
She's got very many amazing qualities.
Yeah,
what got her mad when she was little?
What got her mad when she was... Well, if I ever asked her to do something, she didn't want to do it. she was mad. And it doesn't matter what you say to her, if she believes in something, you can't change her mind.
Mum used to always tell me to go outside and kick a tree when I was mad. And it always worked. I literally would always just go out there. I had this particular tree. I would kick it and I'd kick it hard, and then I'd come back in and it was all over.
But the thing is, Amy, if you disagreed, you had like 15 different arguments to back up your whatever you didn't believe in, whatever you didn't agree with. And I'm thinking, hang on, she's 5 years old. Where's this coming from? And you'd sit there, oh yeah, and this, and I'm thinking, where does she get it from? It's amazing. You always had a reason why you didn't believe something was right, and you would come up and you'd say it.
And then you took me to debating classes for the next 15 years. More for you.
That's correct. We did. And I looked at you and I thought, she's pretty clever, this girl. One day she'll be the Prime Minister of Australia.
I love that. I don't know if I wrote it in my book or I've talked about it in a podcast or something, where I remember thinking as a kid, I could be the Prime Minister if I wanted to.
Absolutely, you can.
And I think that's, see, listeners, my confidence is not buoyed on nothing. It's buoyed on my dad's ability to believe that I can be anything I want to be, even at 39, when I've not done any politics. He still thinks I could be the Prime Minister if I wanted to.
You could be anything you want, Amy, but don't become a politician, because that might change you for the worst.
That's true.
So you being away quite a bit when the girls were young, what do you appreciate now, looking back on it, about Marilyn's parenting of the girls?
Oh, look, there's lots of things I appreciate. The fact that she was always there for them, and on her own a lot of the times. She brought up 4 or 5 very independent women, which is holding them in good stead now that they've become young women.
Yeah. She's a good wife, hey?
She's a fantastic wife, a great mother, and a great nana. Oh, the grandkids love her to death.
That's so true.
So has Amy always had entrepreneurial skills?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She's always been one to always look forward. I think her character is that she wants to do better and better and better. And when she started her first business, I think it was Party in a Box, Amy?
Yeah, that was my first one that I actually made money out of.
But when you started that, I thought, it's amazing, because I looked on your website just to sort of see, and I think, oh my goodness, that's my daughter doing all these wonderful entrepreneurial things. And of course, you've gone from there you've just moved up and up and up. Now you've got another business that we're all very proud of. Amy, well done.
Thanks, Dad. Do you remember that way back when I was always raising money for the Fitzroy Football Club?
That's right.
And we'd put on concerts for like 20 cents a ticket.
That's right. Yep.
I was always, money always made sense to me. I knew that most problems in the world could be made better by money. And I just remember thinking, oh, well, these people have money. I'll put on a concert, make my $1.80.
But you did it because you wanted to save the club. You did it for the right reason. I think also I remember you were, maybe I'm wrong, a few years ago you were organising some money for people to dig wells in Africa or something, and fresh water and all. And you can go through a lot of things that you went through, but it was always for a good cause. It was never, I just want to do something to make money.
Yeah.
It was always for a good cause.
Thanks, Dad.
What do you admire most about Amy, the woman that Amy has become?
I think she's a great mother and an unbelievably good wife to Cal. She's also turned into a beautiful person in terms of her faith. I know that her and Cal do a lot of work with people in their parish, and we're all very proud of her to do that. And also becoming a successful businesswoman, another string to her bow.
You're such a loving dad.
Yeah, this is just so nice. Like you two can go on for all night if you like.
Hang on a moment, Amy.
Bring it on.
It gets to a point where it's all about your ego. We're not going there, okay?
Okay, all right.
So who does Amy take after, John? You or
Let me think
Marilyn?
about that. Me.
In what ways does she take after you?
Her wogginess,
Yes.
definitely. Her business sense.
Yeah.
She doesn't get her cooking skills from me, though, I must say.
No, I know. I didn't get them from Mum either. Mum's a good cook.
Yeah.
I just lucked
Skipped
out.
a
And
generation.
I think
Yeah.
Amy is honest, family orientated, which is something that all our children have been taught and practicing very well. We've been family orientated, definitely. And also Amy has a lot of time for, people in her congregation and her friends, which is lovely to see.
I always tell people, Dad, when they say, do you look more like your mum or dad? I say, I've got my mum's nose and everything else is my dad.
But you've got your mum's warmth too, Amy. And
Oh,
her
that's a bit
kind heart.
nice.
You have.
Who is more organized in your family?
If it's not a true question, I'd like to say my wife.
I think, Dad, that I would describe you, though, as tidy. Like, you don't leave a mess everywhere you go, but you're perhaps not overly organised.
Okay, I'm tidy almost and totally disorganised. Totally. Even when I was in business, I was totally disorganised, but I had a great assistant to help me set up my spreadsheets and all that. But yes, you're right, Amy, disorganised.
Oh, I love it.
Well, lucky I've got a wife that knows how to fix that problem. She organised.
Yes, you two. Yes, you two can you're perfectly fitted to each other. You're complete opposites.
You need a zig and you need a zag. Or a yin and a yang, whatever they call it.
Yep.
Amy, what is the biggest blessing that your dad gave you?
Oh, I think generosity. Dad claims that he never said this to me, but I remember him saying it to me. He said to me, you should always hold your wealth in an open hand, and then people can't steal from you and you can't be stolen from. And I love that. Like, I think it's only through Dad that generosity has come out. I think otherwise, left to my own devices, I perhaps would be a little bit more closed-fisted. But certainly, as a family, we love being generous wherever we can, and that's definitely from
You've
Dad.
passed it on to your boys too, Amy, which I love about them.
I know. Elijah shouted his teacher a coffee the other day with his pocket
that's
money.
Beautiful.
So
that's
beautiful.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well,
Dad, have you ever been worried with all my ventures that I've taken that I was going to go too far down a rabbit hole and go down a business venture that was going to send me bankrupt?
No, I never worried about it. I always knew that whatever you did, you'd take it to where as far as you can take it, then you'd move on and then move on again. It was never a worry about losing money. It was more about trusting you to know what you were doing, which you did, and then saying, Amy, just go for it. And always being there. If there was ever a problem, Mum and I will always be there for you anyway. You know that.
Yeah, I do. And I always like that I can ring you with all the success. So Dad sent me a text, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, Dad, whenever there's an article in the paper, because Dad reads the paper cover to cover every single day.
That's true.
Every single day. When he goes traveling, Mum has to collect them for him. And then he gets home and he sits and he reads everything he's missed for like 3 weeks, every single paper back to front. And if there's ever a decluttering article, I always get a photo of it. So I got one this week and I said to Dad, people are really enjoying our ISO series, and we've had over, I think, 115,000 people download the podcast in the last 30 days. And I could just send that to him knowing that I'd get I'm proud of you, Bubsy, back, which is the nickname that Dad uses for me.
Yeah, but in all your business ventures, I mean, you always made sure that you had, whatever you build, you had a small platform that if you sort of fell, you only had to fall a little bit and then you can get up. You always had that safety platform there in all your businesses, and that's something that I think in business you need. So then you take the fear away. If you fall, you're only going to fall a little bit. You're not going to fall down into the dungeon.
Very true.
Oh, it's so sweet listening to you guys talk to each other.
Oh,
They do like each other.
I know, but it's beautiful.
It's pretty incredible that he had 5 daughters and I'm still his favourite.
Oh.
Hang on. Any of you girls listening? No? Yes, you are my favourite, Amy.
Well, you're my favourite dad.
Yeah, and you're his favourite eldest child.
Hang on a sec. You say that, but I think you said to me once, you're my second favourite dad. God's my favourite dad.
Did I? Oh, that's
You
so
definitely
corny.
did. And I didn't flinch and I didn't say, oh. I said, good on you, Amy. Well done.
Oh my gosh, that is so corny. I can't believe I said that to you.
And I was very proud of you. Well done, Amy.
Oh, so embarrassing.
Well, you said,
Yay! Good work, John.
Oh dear.
Oh, you pious little girl, Amy.
I know, that's awful.
It's not really, is it?
No, it's not.
I'm sure Cal would have been proud of you.
Cal's always happy. I can't think of any other questions to ask you, Dad. Kirst, can you think of any?
I could think of many, 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 but I also can think that we should give your dad back his evening day.
Yes.
And thank you so much, John, for being so generous in your time and generous in your love towards Amy and therefore me by being on our podcast.
It's a pleasure. And Amy, please make sure you give my buddy a big kiss and a cuddle and a big kiss and a cuddle to my 2 boys.
I feel like I need to just let our listeners in on a little secret. Is Dad cooks for us often a night a week. And I say it's been harder, but we did get a meal last night, which was delicious. And he always says, I made this for the boys. And if there's anything left, you can have some too. And whenever he calls, he says, I'm just ringing to check in on my 3 boys, being Cal, Jess and Lige. And, all right, how are you two? So I know where I sit in the order of love.
but I do love you, Amy, but I love Cal as a man love, and I love the boys as a grandpa love, and
Exactly.
I love you as a daughter. It's different.
It is different. It is different. And they'll watch sport with you, whereas I will not watch sport with you.
Well, I don't have to love Cal, but I do. You I have to love. My grandchildren I have to love. Cal I choose to love. So
so lovely. I'm loved by affiliation.
Yeah, we really do know the level. It goes Cal, then the boys, then Amy.
I'm very happy to take that role.
Spot on. Well done.
Oh, Dad, thank you so much. It has been a blast. My cheeks hurt from smiling. I love you very much. So thanks for sharing.
Love you too, Bubsy. Lovely
See
to talk to you, Kirsty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you, John. Thank
River
you.
turkey.
River turkey.
Thanks for joining us.
If you've learnt something awesome today, we'd love you to leave us a review on iTunes or Facebook so others can find our podcast too.
Don't forget you can see the show notes in your podcast app or over at our website artofdecluttering.com.au. So if there's anything you want more info on, check it out there.
If you'd like to join our supporter community, you can do so over at patreon.com/theartofdecluttering.
We hope you have a great rest of your day
And enjoy the freedom.